It always seemed to Lord Emsworth, in examining these entertainments, that the show on August Bank Holiday at Blandings Castle reached its lowest point when tea was served in the big tent. When tea was over, the pain grew less, though it became worse again at the moment when he stepped to the edge of the platform and cleared his throat and tried to remember what on earth he had planned to say. After that, the pain disappeared again, until the following August. The tent had stood all day under a burning sun, and conditions during the tea hour were such that they could not have been more unpleasant. Lord Emsworth was late, delayed by the necessary change to his collar. He entered the tent when the meal was half over, and was pleased to find that his second collar began to lose its stiffness almost immediately. But that was the only touch of happiness that was given to him. As soon as he was in the tent, it took his experienced eye only a moment to see that the present meal was even more terrible than those that had gone before. The young people of Blandings Parva were not known as troublemakers. In all villages, of course, there must be violent characters. In Blandings Parva, the names of Willie Drake and Thomas Blenkiron came immediately to mind. But on the whole, the local youth could be controlled. It was the addition of the fresh-air London visitors which gave the present meeting its violent nature. The London child has a confidence which his country cousin lacks. Years of sharp replies to angry parents and relatives have cured him of any shyness, with the result that when he wants anything, he takes it, and when he is amused by anything unusual in the personal appearance of members of the governing classes, he finds no difficulty in saying so openly. Already, up and down the long tables, the front teeth of one of the school-teachers were being loudly discussed. Lord Emsworth was not usually a man of quick thought, but it seemed to him at this moment that it would be wise to take off his top hat before his little guests noticed it. The action was not, in the end, necessary. As he raised his hand to take it off, a small hard cake flying through the air took it off for him. Lord Emsworth had had enough. Even Constance, an unreasonable woman, could not expect him to stay and smile in conditions like these. Lord Emsworth went slowly towards the way out and left. Outside the tent, the world was quieter, but only slightly quieter. What Lord Emsworth wanted was to be alone, and in all the broad park there seemed to be only one spot where he could be alone. This was a red-roofed hut, used in happier times by cows. Hurrying there, his lordship was just beginning to enjoy the cool darkness of the inside of the hut, when, from one of the dark corners, causing him to jump and bite his tongue, there came a small sound. He turned. This was too much. With the whole park to go to, why should a child come in here? He spoke angrily. "Who's that?"
"Me, sir, thank you, sir."
Only one person whom Lord Emsworth knew was able to thank him for having been spoken to so sharply. His anger died away. He felt like a man who, by mistake, has kicked a loyal dog. "Good heavens!" he cried. "What in the world are you doing here?"
"Please, sir, I was put here."
"Put? What do you mean, put? Why?"
For stealing things, sir.
Eh? What? Stealing things? Most strange. What did you steal?
2 sandwiches, 2 apples, and a piece of cake.
The girl had come out of her corner. Force of habit had made her give the list of what she had stolen in the same flat voice as she used at school to her teacher. But Lord Emsworth could see that she was very upset. Tears shone on her face, and no Emsworth had ever been able to watch a woman's tears. He was deeply troubled. He gave her his handkerchief.
Thank you, sir.
What did you say you had taken? She told him again. Did you eat them?
No, sir. They weren't for me. They were for Ern.
Ern? Oh, yes, of course. For Ern?
Yes, sir.
But why on earth couldn't Ern have, stolen them for himself? He's a strong young boy.
Ern wasn't allowed to come, sir.
What? Not allowed? Who said he mustn't?
The lady, sir.
What lady?
The one that came in just after you'd gone this morning.
An angry cry escaped from Lord Emsworth's lips. Constance! What did Constance mean by changing his list of guests without asking him? Constance, eh? One of these days Constance would go too far. Terrible! He cried.
Yes, sir.
Did she give any reason?
The lady didn't like Ern biting her in the leg, sir.
Ern bit her in the leg?
Yes, sir. Pretending to be a dog, sir, he was. And the lady was cross, and Ern wasn't allowed to come, and I told him I'd bring him back something nice.
Lord Emsworth breathed heavily. He had not supposed that a family like this existed. The sister threw stones at Angus McAllister. The brother bit Constance in the leg. It was too wonderful to be true.
I thought if I had nothing myself, it would make it all right.
Nothing? Lord Emsworth was astonished. Do you mean to tell me you have not had tea?
No, sir, thank you, sir. I thought if I had none, then it would be all right if Ern had what I would have had.
His lordship's head, never very strong, swam a little in confusion. Then he understood. Good heavens, he said. I never heard anything so terrible in my life. Come with me immediately.
The lady said I had to stop here, sir.
Never mind the lady, Lord Emsworth commanded.
Thank you, sir.
5 minutes later, Beach, Lord Emsworth's manservant, enjoying a short sleep in the housekeeper's room, was awakened by the unexpected ringing of a bell. Answering its call, he found his employer in the library, and with him a surprising young person. Beach?
Your lordship?
This young lady would like some tea.
Very good, your lordship.
Sandwiches, you know, and apples, and cake, and that sort of thing.
Very good, your lordship.
And she has a brother, Beach.
Really, your lordship?
She will want to take some food away for him. Lord Emsworth turned to his guest. Ernest would like a little chicken, perhaps?
Oh.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Then bring a bottle of that new wine, Beach. It's some they sent me to try, explained his lordship. Nothing special, you understand, he added, but quite good. Put all that together in a package, Beach, and leave it on the table in the hall. We will pick it up as we go out. It was less hot when Lord Emsworth and his guest came out of the great door of the castle into the evening air. Gladys, holding her host's hand and the package, was happy. She had had a good tea. Life seemed to have nothing more to offer. Lord Emsworth did not share this view. He was ready to do more. "Now, is there anything else you can think of that Ernest would like?" he asked. "If so, just say so. Beach, can you think of anything?" Beach was unable to do so. "No, your lordship. I added, on my own responsibility, your lordship, some hard-boiled eggs." "Excellent! You're sure there is nothing else?" A hopeful look came into Gladys's eyes.
"Could he have some flowers?"
"Certainly," said Lord Emsworth. "Certainly, certainly, certainly. Of course, just what I was going to suggest. What is flowers?" Beach explained. "I think the young lady means flowers, your lordship."
"Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Flowers."
"Oh?" said Lord Emsworth. "Oh? Flowers," he said slowly. He took off his glasses, cleaned them thoughtfully, put them on again, and looked out at the gardens. They contained thousands of flowers. They were bright with flowers of all kinds. But what about Angus McAllister? What would he do if they were picked? As a general rule, the way to get flowers out of Angus McAllister was as follows. You waited until he was feeling kind-hearted, which happened rarely. Then you led the conversation gently round to the subject of flower arrangements. Then, at the right moment, you asked if he could possibly let you have a few. The last thing you thought of doing was to start picking the flowers yourself. "I said Lord Emsworth. He stopped. He suddenly saw himself as he was, the unspeakably weak representative of a family which in the old days had certainly known how to treat its employees. Long ago, people had known how to speak to servants. Of course, they had possessed certain advantages which he lacked. If they got angry with the head gardener, they had him cut to pieces, and no questions were asked. But in spite of this, he realized that they were better men than he was, and that if he allowed fear of Angus McAllister to prevent this charming girl and her brother from having flowers, he had no right to call himself Lord Emsworth. Lord Emsworth struggled with his fears. "Certainly, certainly, certainly," he said. "Take as many as you want."